Ask TV, where we asking interesting characters their story. So we got a special guest today. I know him as Mike, my personal barber, but y'all gonna know him as Taperbymike.
What to do, man? Taperbymike in the building with Ash TV. First podcast interview I ever did, so we gotta go ahead and get it right.
For sure. So like, bro, let's just start off with the basics, right? So, what's your backstory? What got you this position? Where you at right now?
Just completely.
Yeah, like just start off like where you from, background, everything.
So I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. Right. I went to school in Arlington, but I was born and raised in Fort Worth. Went from there. I came to Texas State. That's what brought me to St. Marcus. Came to Texas State. I'm trying to sum it up the quickest way possible because it could take the whole episode if I really get into it.
Like the main points, yeah.
Main points came to Texas State. Was just doing different degrees, chasing money, nursing, business, criminal justice, trying to figure out whichever one made the most money.
Right.
In 4 years, so money was always the goal.
In the back of your head, yeah.
Yeah, and then pandemic hit, and that's when I really first started doing like side hustles. I think my first thing I did was I think I was selling like do-rags, lanyards.
Yeah, jerseys. I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was selling do-rags, lanyards, and jerseys, but I still was working. Like I was still working like 60 hours a week at Quick Trip, but doing that on the side. And that was the first thing that really like sparked my mind. But like, damn, I really can make money on my own without having to do that. But I was like, nah, it's too risky, so I ain't do it. But yeah, then that's when the pandemic hit, and that's when I picked up the Clippers. Yeah. And I picked it up as like a side. It was like not even a side hustle, like a hobby. I was like, you know what? Let me just see if I can learn how to do this. Really just bored. Because I was never really the type to go out, shit like that. So I just had free time. So, you know, I'm watching YouTube videos, see how easy it is. Or see how easy I thought it would have been. It was hard as hell at the beginning. I ain't gonna lie. And then start cutting. Start charging $5, $10. Went back home for that summer. Came back. That's when I was at Vodka Village when I first started cutting you. What was I, like $15 by then?
Yeah, that was like 15. This was good days too, man. He at 45 right now.
Nah, yeah, that's when I was at 15. That's when I really started. Like, that's when I was like, okay. Because for the longest, I didn't want to call myself a barber. I don't know what it was. I was like, man, I ain't trying to be no fucking barber. Like, I ain't want nobody to be like, hey, you a barber? Like, hell no. But I was like, because I used to see it as like
that's it, right?
No, like a lower level job. Like, that nigga. I used to look at it like that. So I'm like, nah, I ain't want to label myself as that. But then I started, even off the $10 and $15 I was making, I started realizing, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a little bit of money. I started like calculating it. Like, if I do this many hairs a week, I get this much. So I'm like, shit, being a barber ain't too bad. So then I jumped into it full time. I made an Instagram page, started posting cuts every day. And at this time, I still was like in school, but this one it was online. And then one day I just, in the middle of a homework assignment, closed the laptop, never opened it back.
For real.
Then that was probably around like October, November. A few months later, they opened the barber school, which I'm at now. They opened that barber school, and I seen it as a sign. I'm like, bro, it's crazy that as soon as I drop out of school, they opened a barber school. So then I went there, did my thing there for like a year, started doing barber battles and all that shit, and it just took off with barbering. And then the same thing played through my head. Like when I first started with the lanyards and all that, I'm like, the job money cool, which is barbering, but I'm like, I'm trying to get into something else.
Right.
So then that's when I started. I think the first thing I did was the vending machine. I did like little side hustles every now and then, like flipping shoes, like forces, and I still was doing the lanyards here and there. But the first thing that I really like invested my money in was that crane machine that's in the shop.
Right.
Invested in that. And I think I got a dog next before another machine. I got my first dog. So but pretty much once I started with the barbering and started making money from that, I just started
trying different venues, basically.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then sum all that up, and then boom.
It's crazy you say that because I still don't really look at you as a barber yet. Yeah. Like, I still look at you, like, when I think about you, like somebody say, like, Mike. You feel me? It's like someone bring up Mike in a conversation, I don't be like, oh yeah, that's that barber right there. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my dude, he a hustler type. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I be trying to get it like.
So like, you already answered about like 2 of my questions already just off of that alone. So do you still look at barbering as like do you look at it as a stepping stone, or are you comfortable now with being called a barber?
I'm cool with it now. Like people say, oh yeah, he a barber, but like you said, most people know from the main outlook. Like okay, he cut hair, but like he do this, he do this, he do this.
Right.
He do this. Like more so like a businessman, entrepreneur type.
Do you look at barbering as a stepping stone?
Yeah.
It's still a stepping stone. It's not like that's not where like Mike is gonna be.
Nah, hell no.
Like for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying?
It's like fucking a launch pad.
Right.
That's what like all the money from barbering. Like I actually wrote that in my notes when I first like mapped out what I want to do.
Yeah. I
got a notebook to this day. It say what did I put? I'm trying to think of the exact words. It was like make barbering your bitch.
Right.
Basically, it's gonna be bring me the money, and I just use it for everything else.
And I think you did do that. So when it comes to because you ended up having to drop out. Well, not having to, but that was your choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And was there any point in time where you're like, damn man, I shouldn't have done that? Was there any point in time where you're like, maybe I should have stayed? Like any point of regrets? Like maybe your parents was like, man, why'd you do that? Because I know me personally, if I did that, my parents would have gave me hell, and I'm sure like your people or even some of your friends are like, man, like that's a crazy move you just did. You sure about this?
Yeah. So really, the crazy part about it, my people didn't know until like a semester went by, and they thought I was still in school. I didn't tell. I did it all on my own. So I never really had that feeling within myself, like damn, I should have went back, because I was so fed up with it, and I had seen like myself make. I ain't gonna say crazy back then. To me, it was crazy numbers. In the day out barbering, like $100, $200. I was like, bro, if I do this, like I said, if I do this every day, what I need school for? That's right. What my mindset was in. So I was like, I'm gonna give all my time to barbering. And then, like I said, I did that. Didn't have no regrets. I was like, I'm done with school.
Yeah.
Because I was in school forever gonna be there. So that was my mindset. Like no matter, even though I probably on my transcript, it's probably all the classes failed. The school always trying to make money too. So if I was to go tomorrow and try to enroll and tell them I had the tuition, they gonna let my ass right back in there. But then, like 3-4 months went by, and then I went home when I bought my first that Charger, the gray one.
Yeah.
That's like when my people found out. Like I came home and just like, y'all have to go do something tomorrow. I bought a car, and they like, what? Like you bought a car? You know what I'm saying? And they used to call and they ask how school going. And I used to lie. I'd be like, well, I wouldn't lie. It's like, okay, it's good. I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Because I knew they would have did, like you said, your people, they would have tried to get on me like, oh, you need to be back in school. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and have everything set up and be so successful. So whenever they find out, they're like, well, shit, you did it.
Yeah, like, so, and I think that's, a lot of people feel like that's being like deceiving or like lying or in a way to their parents. But I think personally you did it the right way, because when you show them like, hey, like I know that I did like a risky move, but this is the outcome. So I think you did it the right way. So like, when did you realize this was like the right path you was on?
When I realized it?
Yeah. Was it when you started the school, or like was it when you got that sign that the school started? Like, when did you realize like, man, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be at. Like, this is the right move. I'm on the right path. Because some people, still in school right now that feel like, man, is this where you're supposed to be? What I'm doing? Like, some people still confused about this future. You know what I'm saying? So like, are you in that confused stage at the moment, or like, are you like, okay, I know where I'm going. Like, I'm guiding myself. I'm confident in where I'm moving.
Back then?
Like right now.
Oh, right now, no, for sure. Right now, I'm like, okay, I didn't did enough to know like anything. I can do anything. But like back then, the signs that I seen, like that's one of the main, like the tools on here. Yeah, that's one of the main things that that's why I still like carry it with me to this day. Like back then, I don't know what it was. Like it started off, I would be cutting, and I would look at my phone, and then it would be that time. It'd be like 2 to 2. I got to see it every day, and then every time I thought of something, like when I'd be like, okay. Like, I think I'm going to do this. And then next thing you know, I'll look and I'll see that time, or I'll see that number somehow. Like, it'll be like on the TV or some crazy shit. Like, it blew my mind. I'm like, bro, every time I think of something that seems risky, I see these numbers. And then I'll jump on it and do it, and the shit come out right. So I'm like, these numbers is literally following me, telling me, okay, do this, do this, do this. Like, giving me the confirmation. So that's probably what was leading me, like, nah, I ain't doing that wrong.
So, obviously, you being an entrepreneur, right, at a young age, like, And you know, being in school, you learn it every day in school, right? You're supposed to be, you know, because you're in school. Do you think you learn it more being an entrepreneur and basically being a self-taught individual?
I don't feel like you're learning more as a whole. You're learning more of what you wanna know.
Mm-hmm.
Like since I'm like under the entrepreneur bubble, I get to learn everything I want to know about barbering, machines, and stuff like that every day. Versus school, you might learn more because you taking math, science, English.
It's like an abundance of stuff.
You learning more, but it's like I feel like I'm learning more of what I wanna.
What you want to know. Yeah, okay. And do you feel like more people should aspire to do that? Like learn what you want to learn and not like learn what you want to learn and not what like a school tells you must learn to get a piece of paper to go do something that you probably don't even want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Because if you keep doing that, then you always gonna be in that loop. Like they say, okay, you got to know these many credits.
Right.
Then when you're ready for the next level, you're gonna be looking to whoever hired. Okay, what I got to know now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they still controlling you by telling you what to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Or how many hours you gotta give, the credits and stuff like that. So yeah, once I broke free from that, it's like I don't even look at it the same.
So let's go back to a few questions back where we kind of discussed that you came to college to basically based on what you say, you try to figure out a route that gave you the best amount of money, right? And I think a lot of people do that, and I did that myself. You know, like I wanted to be a businessman, like my father was, and I want to know the best route to make money. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really come to like my mom wanted me to come, you know, to like be just educating like so many different things, and that's understandable. You know, your parents gonna want you to be like a well-rounded individual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to learn what would benefit me the most. You know what I'm saying? So going back to that, like, where did that mindset originate from? Do you feel like you was born with the mindset of like just being a goat? Like you have like a go-getter attitude. I feel like, and like, where you feel like you're born with that? Your father like that? Anybody in your family is like? Where'd you get this from?
I feel like for sure I always had like that, like you said, that rebellious like go against the rules.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, I used to get in trouble for just breaking rules just cause.
Yeah.
Like I was a kid, the teacher would be like, "Okay, ask me before you use the restroom." And I'm like, "Why I gotta ask you? Like if I gotta pee, why do I gotta ask you if I gotta pee?"
Yeah.
So that's one of the main things that kept me from school. Like why do I have to learn this to get money? And then as far as like you were saying, like a person that probably inspired, it was definitely like a lot of female figures in my life that was like hustlers. Like my mom, ever since I was like, I think when I was like 8 years old, last time I remember her having a job, and she did like different. She had a daycare, did like custom little shirts and shit for girls, like bedazzled shoes. Like she always had a different side hustle, like 5 different things going. So I seen her doing that. One of my coaches, my AAU basketball coach, was also a female. It was the same way. So like I seen them do it, and it's probably like if some girls watching the interview, they probably think it's like a sexist comment.
Right.
So I'm like, hell no, if I seen a girl hustle, what I look like not being able to have 5 streams if I just seen a girl do it? That's like the mindset then. Now I know it's possible for a girl to do it, but that was like my mindset.
Mm-hmm. I think any gender could really inspire you. I think it don't really matter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like my to go with that, were you the type of kid to like be bringing candy to school to sell? Were you the dude that was going like door to door, let me cut your grass? Like what? Like did you do like things that was kind of little? Like, cause you know we can have jobs when we was kids. Mm-hmm. So were the little things that you wanted to do that you was like, oh man, let me do this to try to get some money? Like were you always in that mindset? So let me go get some money, or like when did that start?
I wasn't always in that mindset. Like I wasn't the bring the candy to school or this and that. It started probably like middle school. Like when we really start like it's like a whole, I feel like, psychology behind it. Like us as dudes, like in middle school, we started like seeing girls. Yeah. Like, okay, now I want to wear the clean clothes and impress the girls.
Right.
And like, of course, my people would get it for me like to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I just got 2 pair of shoes last week, I won't be like, no, I'm not buying another pair.
Right.
So that's when it started clicking in my head.
Okay, let me go get it.
I got my own money. All I need to do is take me to the mall.
Right.
You feel me? So then that's when that started, like probably around middle school. Because I started working at 15. Like I lied to my first job. I was supposed to be 16 and worked at Whataburger.
So they even check?
Because you know when you're 16, you don't have a state ID. I have a school ID and a social security card.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin did it because he did it first, and that's how I knew. I was like, okay, bet they paid every week. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna work at Whataburger anytime I want shoes, this and that. I'm gonna go buy it.
Yeah.
And that's when it just started from there.
Well, your people like, cause I know some parents, you know, they just want their kids to like focus on school and not work. You know what I'm saying? Like, were your parents like ever on that type of timing, or was it like were they supportive always? You trying to have like a job and have your own money coming in?
Nah, yeah, they was always supportive of it because they knew like I wasn't gonna mess up in school.
Right.
Like they knew I wouldn't. I mean, sometimes I would put money before school, but like they knew I was on track in school, so they're like, okay, as long as the report card look right,
yeah,
then you ain't doing nothing wrong.
Right. Next question. How much is self-teaching important for an entrepreneur? I know that you post a lot like on your Instagram and like even your Snapchat sometimes, and you kind of give game on stuff you learned in terms of like credit and like even starting your own small businesses like the vending machine stuff. And I remember you was even doing video. I don't know if you do it now still, but you was even doing videos about like the right ways to do like a taper or like a lineup, you know what I'm saying, to like educate people, which, you know, I like about you. You really trying to give game to people, you know what I'm saying? So how much of you, you know, really working for yourself is self-taught? Like how much of that your time is really learning something new and how to perfect your craft in whatever you're doing?
I feel like 90% of you sound like that you have to learn yourself.
Yeah, basically.
But really, like 100%. Like once you jump in, like I had to learn how to cut myself. Like I had to make myself watch YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sit myself down and learn about credit before I can even. Like I had to learn it first. Then I had to learn how to put it out there for other people to learn it. So like it's all like 100%. You got to teach yourself the whole way.
Right.
And that's probably the hardest part, being disciplined enough to really. Like, no, okay, it's a party going on this weekend. There's going to be some hoes there. Like, that's the first thought in the dude's mind.
Right.
But then to be like, nah, let me sit down for 2 hours, watch this video about credit. Like, that's not going to benefit me in the moment, but of course it paid off in the long run. So like, that's the hardest part, being able to make yourself sit down and learn and teach yourself. Because everything is self-taught once you're an entrepreneur. You can have a mentor, but you still got to apply yourself.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, bro, that, you know, start cutting hair because, you know, a lot of people, you know, our age starting to cut hair now because it's a lot more lucrative nowadays than it was ever before back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, I lost my train of thought. What made you? Because, you know, some people just get paid. They don't even worry about, you know, their credit score or anything like that. So what made you even want to consider like working on my credit? Like what?
I say. My mom played a big factor in me understanding it.
Right.
Like the relationship we got, like we talk to each other like brother and sister, like just cool. It's not like she'll get on to me about it.
Right.
Like she the type to, like she would get a new car like every year.
Really?
And then she'll like flex like, that's because I got good credit.
Right.
Like I got zero interest on this car. And she'll show me her credit score. Like she'll be like, look at this. It's almost 800. So then I put it together. I'm like, okay, so that's how she able to get a car. I mean, outside of the money, that's how she able to get approved for a car every year. So I'm like, okay, I need to do that.
Right.
I need to figure it out.
So watching the videos, did it help? Did also like asking her for advice? Was that a part? Did you just want to learn everything on your own?
But I said a part of me, but still to this day, most of me is like I always want to be like independent with it. So I would watch the videos myself, and if I had a question about it or was confused, then I would go and ask her. But like, because sometimes when I would ask the question, it'll be something simple. And if it was a simple answer, like she'll let me know, then I'll feel, I ain't gonna say she'll make me feel dumb, but she'll be like, how you not know that?
Right.
Then I'm like, damn. So next time, I'm gonna work harder to figure it out before I ask it.
Right.
And over time, it just ended up being me figuring out the whole thing by myself.
Do you think you had, growing up, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you have more respect for, like, I mean, you had equal respect, I'm sure, for your mom and dad, but who you felt like you resided with more mentally, you know what I'm saying?
Mentally?
Because it sounds like you got your hustle and, like, the mindset, like, because to me, I don't see you as a lazy person. So, and you telling me, you know, your mom was doing multiple things you seen growing up as a kid. So, like, did you get, like, a lot of the traits that you see in yourself today from her?
Yeah, I say a lot of it. I see it as I get older, like the resemblance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I for sure both of them, because like my dad was the same way. Like my entire life I never seen him work a job, but like he wasn't doing like legal ways to get money.
Right. Yeah.
So I seen a hustle on both sides, but like so I always knew, okay, I can get it this way, the way he doing it, or I can get it this way, the way she doing it, which is, you feel me, seeming to be the way to go, with her dropping a new car every year,
right,
doing this, doing that.
Yeah, with no problems and like ever after that, just straight legally. You know what I'm saying? Right.
So I see like a resemblance in both of them, but probably more so on mom, because I was like leaning towards the right way to go.
This question gonna be doubling back a little bit, but was there any like back and forth with family with this decision you had in terms of like just doing you and starting just being having your entrepreneurship?
Like family trying to get me to go back?
Yeah, like getting you to go back, or like even kind of not even trying to on purpose doubt you, but just trying to tell you to like maybe go the safer route and like go get a job, and you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say back and forth, but they like kept like slightly encouraging or asking. Like once they knew I wasn't in school,
right?
It was more so my grandparents on both sides, my mom, and my mom, dad. They both would ask like, "Oh, when you plan on going back to school?" Or "You gonna go back?" Right? They'll throw in slight stuff like that. And like my grandpa would tell me, he'd be like, "Man, that barber and stuff not guaranteed."
Yeah.
Like he apologized to me like once I had my first step like in success, because he told me like he never said nothing just doubting like, "Oh, you ain't gonna be nothing being a barber."
Right.
But he was like not believing, so he's like, "Man, you got to go back to school. Like this might not work." He would say stuff like that, and then once once I got like my first apartment, I had the car. Then like I would tell them like every now and then, like the relationship we got, like I can call my grandpa now and say if I had like the water card, like show, like look at this, and then that's when he finally like put it all together. But it was so crazy when I first came back with the car, and he didn't know about the whole barbering thing. You got to think about it. He like 70+ years old, so back in the day they charged like probably $4 for a haircut. Yeah. So in his eyes, he thinking it's max $10 a cut or $5 a cut. So he like, in his head, he like, ain't no way you making all this money off cutting hair. Yeah. He thought I was selling, like he just pulled me outside and was like, "You out there selling drugs?" And that's when I finally broke it down to him. Like I showed him the price, I showed him my booking app, and I showed him my bank statement. Like, look, this same amount is going in every month. And then that's what he told me. He was like, "I just want to say I apologize. I didn't believe it at first," but he was like, "Now I know." So ever since then, they don't question none of the moves I make.
That's what's up, man. So it was basically just your granddad just was having a hard time understanding like it, because it was kind of like he was just ignorant to the fact. You know what I'm saying? So that's really understandable. Do you think being an entrepreneur is more stressful than it ever was being a student, or it is? Like what parts of it?
Because as a student, you might have a lot of work. Like you might have 15 hours, 5 classes to take.
Right.
But like those classes are on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
When you're an entrepreneur, anything can pop up, especially when you're an entrepreneur trying to get to the next level. Like right now, I could stop doing the machines, everything else, and I could live off barbering alone and go to work, this day. But like it's still stressful because it's like, okay, what if a slow week hit?
Right.
And everybody that's out here go out of town.
Right.
And it's stressful because it's like, okay, now what I'm gonna do now?
Right.
So me, I like to put myself in position to be steps ahead. That way, a slow week can never come. Like, okay, barbering might be slow this week, but I'm gonna make money off of this week.
Right.
So it's stressful as far as trying to get all that in play, because you have to learn every single day, and you gotta damn near be it's not a race, but it is a race.
Right.
Like, say if I just invent something crazy, or say if I thought of a crazy invention that I want to drop, I'm not the only one thinking of that. It's how many people in the world now? Like 8 billion? It's 8 billion other people probably thinking the same thing.
Right.
And if they drop it first, then it's like they win. Yeah. So it's like you either got to stay up to 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, working every single hour, or you can chill and lay back, but then you got that chance that somebody might swoop in.
Right.
And now you dealing with a slow week.
And I think, and I ain't gonna lie, bro, I'm gonna say this, because my dad is an entrepreneur too, right? And I seen him, as a kid, in Jamaica, he always had a hustle. Like, looking back at it, you don't really look at where your parents get their money from, because you're a kid, you don't care about that.
As long as you got it.
As long as, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, looking back at it now, he was always hustling. Like I remember he would take me in the bed and stuff, and I wake up in the middle of the night, he'd be gone. And I asked him next morning, like, where you be going? He's like, I be working. I was like, stay home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, I think, bro, like, and what he tells me, cause you know he used to work. He bought like like something an industrial machine. I forgot what it's called, but he would do jobs clearing out like areas, bushes and stuff like that for a fee. You know what I'm saying? And he started doing that, and he started working for like certain hotels. You know, Jamaica is like tourism is a big thing over there, and he got a lot of money from working in these like environments because you gotta be really professional. Because they people that work in these hotels and stuff like tourists is the main amount like revenue coming into the country, so they want the best people working there. You know what I'm saying? And he been in manager positions, and that's how he learned how to become a manager, a boss. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and he tells me at the time, I didn't send you to school to go work for somebody, and he always told me as well, like it's hard being an entrepreneur and being your own boss, because the clock don't stop. And I feel like what you telling me is like it's really what he been telling me too. You know what I'm saying? Because every time he get up, you know what I'm saying, even if it's an off day, he gotta go make sure the employees doing their thing. Somebody call him. You know what I'm saying? When the lights go off, he can't just, well, I'll handle it tomorrow. Like, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, you right by what you're saying, because I heard it before. And, like, the mindset that you have, I think that, like, it's going to take you far. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. Because I feel like I see certain characteristics in you, and you're so young that I feel like Mike 10 years, 20 years from now, like, I feel like it's just going to be a completely different person, but, like, a way better. You know what I'm saying? Version? Yeah. So, what influences you, man? What keeps you motivated?
I say I always look at it as far as like when I see, it might sound bad to say, like when I see like homeless people, or when I see like, say if I go to the store, if I go to get something to eat, I see like an old person that should be retired, right? Like working there, stuff like that keep me motivated, right? Like even though I know for a fact I would never let myself get like that, I know it's possible to be like that. So I'm like, okay, I gotta keep going to the next thing, because I seen a quote that said it was like having one stream of income, you one step away from being broke. So the way I look at it, the more streams I have, that put me a higher level or more steps away from being to that level. Right. So that's what, like, anytime I'm like driving around, if I see somebody like holding a sign, you feel me, I'll be like, damn, like that could be me. Right. Or I'll look at it, I'll just be sad about like, damn, how the fuck they end up like that? I'm like, okay, I can't let myself get like that.
And I think, and I've experienced that myself too, because working, regularly, hourly job, you do see people that's, a lot older. And, as a young person, you know what I'm saying, when you look at older people, me personally, I kind of was like, man, you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna be old for a long ass time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like now as I'm getting older, you know what I'm saying, I'm just turned 22 and whatever, I start realizing like, okay, like I'm gonna get old one day. And like real life people that's really old, you know what I'm saying, do work these jobs for real. And it's like, man, that also has been a motivation for me to like not be on like always be on my time. You know what I'm saying? Like always be on T and just work. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause now this is the best years we got to work. Your 20s. You know what I'm saying? Cause we really only getting older. Everybody say that, but I'm really starting to believe that.
Them cliche things are true.
Them cliche things really starting to come full circle as you get older and realize like it's true. You know what I'm saying? But what kept you? Is that the only thing what keeps you motivated, or like, what like just gets like? Cause I'm sure there's some days you get up and like, man, I just want to chill. Like what keeps you up? Like what keeps you going? I'm sure you wish you could have like some lazy days. Even in your off days, I know you be doing stuff. You got dogs and stuff like that you be having to take care of. So like, what keeps you going? Like,
I feel like to a certain extent, I kind of built the habit of it. Like I'm for sure now, and I admit it to myself, and I get on myself about it all the time. Like the stage I'm in now, like the old me, like back then, like Bobcat Village, yeah, well, I work me now 100 times. Like that ass back then would not go to sleep until I finished everything I wanted to do that day. Mm-hmm. Me now, like I have time while I slack out, because I admit, like naturally I'm lazy. Like the main reason I'm working so hard now is so when I get 30, I don't have to work at all. So I'm like, I'd rather work at my ass off now and be lazy from 30 to whenever the end is versus, be lazy now. So like I have moments where I'll chill and lay back, but then I'll like make myself like, okay, you got to get this done though. Right. You got to sacrifice this. So I won't do the things I want to do. Like, say if I'm lazy today, like my off day, say if I just chilled the entire day, then tomorrow, let's say if I wanted to go hoop or wanted to go get something to eat, or like we did today, we went to the gun range today.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I wouldn't let myself do that. Like
which one you went to?
The range in Austin.
Oh, okay, sure.
But yeah, I wouldn't let myself do something like that. Like I'd be like, nah, you got to sacrifice that. Since you want to be lazy, you don't get to have fun. You used your fun, lazy time.
Mm-hmm. So, with the, because I feel like, there's probably some people that that just do the barber stuff and that's it, right? Mm-hmm. But you wanted to do, like you said, kind of have multiple streams. So, what made you want to start the vending machine stuff? Because I feel, because that was the first one, right? Mm-hmm. So, what made you want to start doing the vending machine?
So
and the crane, yeah, it was a crane first, then the vending machine.
The initial reason, like the true reason behind it, I figured out later. But the initial reason, like I was just still thinking money. Right. So me and one of my homeboys, who was back at home, right? Mm-hmm. And we was at this spot called Walk-Ons. Right. And we spent I say $10 each. They had a Keymaster machine in there, which is one of the machines I had before I just sold them. But they had a Keymaster in there, and we was trying to win. I forgot what we was trying to win. But we spent $10 each in a matter of 2 minutes. Right. Like I remember going up, they had a machine that would give you cash. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an ATM, it was not cash, it was a change. They gave you change because I think they charged $2 per try, and it only took dollar bills. Mm-hmm. So they had a machine right there behind it. I remember going in my pocket 2 times to break some fives. Right. And I looked down at my phone, I'm like, damn, 2 minutes went by and we just spent $20. Right. And I remember looking around the place, because I was finna ask one of the workers, hey, is this the company machine or somebody put them in here? Because I'm trying to figure out who get this money. Getting it, yeah. Who just made $20 in 2 minutes off of this is what I'm thinking in my head. From that point on, I think that night, or probably once I got back to San Marcos, because I was back in Dallas then. Once I got back, that's when I looked it up, trying to figure out, okay, where can I find one of these machines at? Mm-hmm. And then I had put that on pause. I'm not going to do an arcade machine because people only do that at restaurants. Because I knew I was going to put it in the barbershop. Mm-hmm. So I hit up the owner of the shop. I was like, hey, I could put a drink machine in here, a snack machine. I was thinking like that. I was like, what, let me just try to sell snacks. Because I always knew about a vending machine hustle, but I never really understood it, how the money was made from it. So once I started looking into the Keymaster, then I started looking into the snack machine. And then that's when I realized, the main point of these machines is to make money without exchanging your time. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a snack machine. But then we had our talk about that, and he was like, nah, I don't want to put a snack machine in the shop for whatever reason. I was like, you know what? I went back to the idea. I was like, let's put a Keymaster. But then those were just too expensive at the time. Mm-hmm. I was able to get a crane machine. I think I paid $3,000 for the crane machine. Mm-hmm. I was like, if I fill this machine, I was like, what can I fill it with? That's my first. I was like, what can I fill it with? And I was like, you know what? I can put money in it. Right. Who don't want money? Yeah. And after seeing myself going back to that day, spending $10 in 2 minutes, I'm like, I'm tight with my money already. Right. I'm the type of person that if I walk by one of them, especially now, I'm like, I'm not gonna take a chance with that. Right. So I'm like, I know if I spent $10 in 2 minutes, somebody else gonna give in more than I will, and they gonna spend more. Mm-hmm. So then and it was one of the moments. I had the angel number time, seen the twos, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I ordered it, put it in there, and then from there I just kept, I was like, okay, if this machine making this much a month, if I had this many more machines making this much a month, I'm down there making what I make barbering. Yeah. Now I ain't got to exchange my time. Yeah, it's passive. Now I ain't got to exchange my time for barbering. That's what I learned from looking into the machines and everything else about different streams of income. The key to financial freedom is making money without giving your time. Right. Because time is really all we had. Like money had no, I mean, look, paper money had no value. The time
is you can't get it back.
Shit constantly going. So it's like, why not be able to keep all my time and let something else bring me money? And then that's like all together. It probably was all over the place, but that's pretty much how.
Nah, for sure. So I think that's just an example of like your brain is always trying to be in that businessman mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause some people wouldn't even think about that. Like damn, we just made this amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just gave somebody this amount of money, this amount of time. Like, y'all probably was like, man, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I think that's just like, yeah, like I said, an example of just your mind always working and just thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's a good thing. Your next stream, your next, venture that you went on was the dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what made you want to start doing that now?
So with the dogs, as a kid, I always liked dogs, like pit bulls.
Right.
Like my first dog, we were just talking about that. My first dog, I bought him. Matter of fact, at 15, when I first started working that job, had my own money.
Yeah.
They would never buy me a dog, so I got on Craigslist, took my $100 and I bought him.
Yeah.
Like I just always liked dogs. And the craziest part about it with my dogs now, so Matt, he had a homeboy that was selling bullies.
Yeah.
And he told me about it. He's like, hey, did we talk about the bullies first before you showed me the ones Tyler had? Oh no, BB. So I had a client. He came in and he had the big ass dogs, and then that's what I got my mind back thinking. I'm like, damn, I low key want another dog. And then I got to looking into it, like the bullies and stuff like that. Then he had a homie that was selling them, and it's crazy to this day. I probably still got the messages in my phone that he sent me. He said he want $4K for this dog. And I'm like, $4K? I'm not paying $4,000 for no dog. And like less than 3 months later, I went and spent $8,000 on my first dog. Double what I just said, hell no to. But then I looked into it and I realized that it's like a business inside a passion. Like, okay, I already love dogs, right? I ain't got to worry about myself not taking care of the dog because I always like to put my money into stuff I'm passionate about that I can get up and do every day.
Right.
So then once I looked into it and I realized, and another big factor was the breeders that I got my dog from. Once I seen like their Instagram page, and before I even bought my dog, they let me come out there and see my dog as a puppy. Like she wasn't even old enough to leave yet. They let me come out there and see it. And these people had, I forgot how many acres of land. They got like a big ass house in the front. And then behind the house is a big ass like barn, like state of the art, like stainless steel, puppy room, heated, different dog, like dogs living lavish. And I'm like, wait a minute. And that's when I put it all together. Okay, they just sold me this dog for $8,000. And I'm asking them, how many puppies did she have? Oh, she had 12 puppies. And I got mine was one of the lower ones because they had, like it's different. People that know dogs, mine is a lot like Tri. But they had Merles that's going for like 15. But in my head, I'm like, okay, she had 12 puppies. Mine was 8. Let's just say every dog was 8. Like we ain't even gonna add the 15. That's what, 96,000? Dog gonna have at least 2 litters.
Right.
So like these people have made 100 bands off taking care of dogs. Something that I'm gonna do already. Like, I already love dogs, so why not buy a dog, spend the $8,000 now, and later down the line I'm gonna make 100 bands off 1 litter, at least 200 bands if she had 2 litters. And then that was just the whole process. And then just like with the machines, okay, I'm like, well, let me get another dog.
Right.
So then that way, let's say it collide at the same time. I make 200 bands. I mean, like it sounds bad. Most people don't like the breeding thing, but it's like dogs gonna have puppies.
Right.
And like in order to get a good dog, you gotta spend. So why not, you feel me, make that happen? So that was the whole process behind that.
Yeah, man. And take you back to school just for a second. Were you good at math? So
math was all my favorite subject.
All your favorite subjects. So that's why it just come like natural, like with the quick maths and the adding. Like even when you even broke it down to your granddad with the times he did, and then cuts per day, and you probably mathed it out even all the way out annually. So how much you would make annually so a day? Like that's what's up, man. I just got one more question, bro. Cause we run out of time, but like, where you see Mike in 10 years, bro?
10 years?
Yeah.
Let's see, that'd be what, 31? Crazy part about it, I always, since high school, or since they asked this question in school, I never been able to answer this question because it changed so much. Like right now, if I keep going on the track I'm on, I could be like, okay, I have 100 vending machines across the state. I'm gonna have $20 in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Our brand gonna be at this level. I'm gonna be to start at this. But then it's so many different ventures I could take, especially being in the position I am now, where I got consistent flow of income for barbering. Like I can be like, okay, in 10 years I'm gonna be flipping houses doing real estate.
Right.
But then tomorrow I might be like, no, I don't want to deal with no houses.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna open a car lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's so many different things. It's hard to like pinpoint it. That's really what I look at as like how you were saying earlier when somebody's like, oh, they mentioned Mike. It's hard to like pinpoint one thing.
You kind of want to be versatile and everything.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want it to be like, oh,
that's
Mike,
what he does.
Yeah,
that's
he
it.
do this. It's like, bro, that nigga do everything.
Right.
Like, I don't even know what he just get money. So that's pretty much how I look at it. 10 years for sure, like financially free. Hopefully over like 25 streams of income. Definitely. In 10 years, it should be way more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I was to just do all the things I got written down right now, I probably could have like 10 to 12 streams. But I'll just be kind of laid back, chilling. Like I said, the old me back then for sure would have had it up there now. But
right, yeah.
By then, it'll kick back into that mode in 10 years. Well, for sure, way before 10 years, and it'll be crazy amount.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you want to give any your social medias out and anything like that?
Every platform at Taperbymike, TaperbyMike. Damn, hold on, let me start over. On every platform at Taperbymike, TaperBymike, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. That's it.
If I don't have these on the screen, it will be in the description. All right, bro.
Bet.